Dan, we got to dance. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Six Gaming Podcast, and unfortunately, we have a no-show episode today. We also have a very light episode today, but let me show you who I do have. Let's start with the cute koala.
Cole's back. Did you say a light show? I don't know with all the news we got.
Well, it's light because
yeah.
we're missing a lot of mass that we normally have here.
That makes sense.
And we also have...
Hey, what's up? It's Ben.
And, of course, I'm roncli filling in for Shosan this week. And, boy, does having a double gaming conference week make for a heck of a lot.
Indeed.
Good news, everyone!
Yeah, good news. Oh, a lot of news. So, what I failed to add last week is we had the GDC 2015 happened last week. This is the all-professional game developer conference that happens in San Francisco every year. And there's a lot of news coming out of that, a lot of VR stuff too. And that's what I wanted to get right into was Valve and HTC have now teamed up to create something they call Vive, which debuted at GTC this week. And I don't know, I think this is a direct response to Facebook's offering, which still confuses me, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what he plans on doing with that.
Yeah, but basically, and I'm looking at the device here, there's kind of like this little strap that goes around the chest that they're not going to be having in the final version. But basically, he's got the normal VR device on his head, and he's got these two little devices, and that's where like the hands are and everything. It's not quite as good as some of the others I've seen in terms of like the Microsoft ones seem to be a little further ahead, but
It's
I don't
the
know.
very first debut. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So, but yeah, HTC getting involved in the hardware side of this, which is quite interesting. So, yeah, what do you guys think?
Awesome. Like, it's unbelievable. This is like a new technology as of like 2 years ago, and it's already coming like this far, and other companies are coming into it. And, I mean, like, in 10 years down the road, we're going to have like this something crazy, I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean, so in like 94, 95, sometime around there, I was a kid, and Gage might not have even been born.
94.
There you go.
Yep.
But yeah, so
so I was at a mall.
Uh-oh. Lagging.
Dan here. Yeah.
Round circles, so you didn't walk out of it, and you know, the big visor thing and a little gun thing, and you paid, I don't know, my parents paid, but $20 or something, and you got some time, and it was like a game where you, like, as you looked around, you could see different stuff. So like a thing could sneak up behind you or whatever, and it was kind of an on rails thing where you would look around and you'd shoot or whatever. And hi, Kitty.
Oh, hi, Kitty. And an extra special guest to the podcast this week.
Cute
This
ball.
is mine, though.
Oh God.
So yeah, so like, I mean, that existed 20 years ago, and now, granted, consumer versions for a reasonable price have not, but it'd be interesting to see how much it actually catches on, because the other thing about it is it's a cool technology, but I feel like it's going to be used more for non-gaming purposes. Like, it'll be used in industry for training or maybe for like meetups and type of stuff, but like, I'm not going to sit here at my desk and like swivel my chair around.
Right.
Well, you may be, because PlayStation, Sony is also coming out with one. We've known about Project Morpheus for a while, but they have just said now that this is going to be coming to consumers in the first half of 2016. That's about a year from now, give or take a couple months. So this is, of course, Sony's offering into the virtual reality space. They're given the option of outputting at 120 frames per second, which is supposedly one of their major selling points. But that was also something that came out at GDC as well. So, hey, VR is getting some real big kick here.
I mean, it could be good. It just depends on exactly how it's executed and what it's developed for it, because it just has to be used right. Because everyone thought Kinect was the coolest thing ever, and some games use it well, but for the most part, people don't really use it. Like think of those first commercials that you saw for the Wii, where everyone's like diving behind their couch and like moving all over the place. And in reality, you sit on your couch and you're like,
right.
Yep, pretty much. So, yeah, and of course they're bringing out the hardware to support this as well. NVIDIA has launched a new video card called Titan X. Basically, a 12 gigabyte graphics card designed specifically to support virtual reality. So a lot of VR stuff. What?
No, sorry, that's HNGGGGG. That's my sound of 12 gig video card.
Oh man.
So Titan X, lots of VR stuff. That's not the only thing that has been announced recently. For those game developers out there, of course, we talked about Handmade Hero recently with them, the guy developing an entire gaming engine from scratch. Well, you don't have to do that anymore because both Epic and Valve have announced that their gaming engines, Unreal Engine 4 and Source 2, respectively, are free. So there's a catch. Now, for Epic, their Unreal 4 engine, you can download it for free, but if you produce a commercial game with it, it requires you to pay 5% of the royalties you make from the game to Epic Games.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's good to get the developers started on the engine without having to pay up front, which is what in previous versions of the engine you'd have to do. But they still get their money because if you are successful with it, you know, they might have, if you put out a AAA game with it, they're going to have a big revenue stream for the rest of who knows what. So,
and I'd happily pay 5% if I'm getting the rest of it.
Exactly, right? And then the other one, Valve's Source 2, of course. We all know Source from Counter-Strike. They're not going to ask for royalties. But your games must run on Steam.
It's perfect, because if you made a good game, you probably want it to be on the main platform of computer gaming anyways. So.
I know, right? So, absolutely. It's interesting to me because, you know, there's been times when I've looked at some gaming engines to see if a free gaming engine would help me out, but I don't know. It's never really, I don't know how to say it. Nothing's really caught my attention. Well, these commercial ones that have been developed for years and years, who knows? Might be worth taking a second look. So, yeah.
Do you think
awesome.
PC Gamer will finally release Gravy Trader on one of them?
Who knows?
No, you guys, never mind. It was so there was a running joke if you ever read PC Gamer from like '95 onward, they had this running joke. So their mascot was Coconut Monkey.
Right.
And they said they were developing this game called Coconut Monkey's Gravy Trader. And like every few articles, they would have an article about how work was progressing on Gravy Trader. And it would always be like, well, we've switched to the Havoc 2 engine, so it's going to be a little while longer. Oh, we've switched to the Unreal engine, so it's like it was basically Duke Nukem Forever. It never came out.
It sounds like.
It was always being forward and forward. They always had problems. And I mean, I think they may have. Did they stop the magazine? Is it still going?
I have no idea. I think the hard copy of the magazine no longer exists. So
that's sad.
Yeah, but okay. So
sorry,
Harmonix. We'll go to them next. Rock Band's coming back.
They're making another Rock Band. Those are two different things.
Well, yes, Rock Band 4 coming to consoles later this year. They said that for the most part you could use your existing instruments with them. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, you don't have to spend all that money on the new instruments. But if you had like custom instruments or what they call pro instruments, the keyboard's not coming back, which is good because I never saw the keyboard, so can't comment on that. But I enjoyed Rock Band when I played it.
I always had fun playing it, but it got to be
that fad
kind of too much.
I that's what I'm thinking. I see this and I'm thinking, I think the ship's already sailed on this whole Rock Band thing.
There's been like Guitar Hero 7, 14 expansions, and you can buy it at GameStop for $7.
Yeah, I think it's over.
Yeah, but another thing that they're saying is, there's more than 2,000 songs in the Rock Band catalog. If you bought previous versions of them, you don't have to buy them again. So I mean, they're doing some pretty good things with it, but like you said, I don't think this is something that's going
I think this is probably, unless it's a huge hit, I think this is probably the last Rock Band you'll ever see.
I thought we were done already.
Yeah, I was surprised to see.
Well, I mean, even this kind of game. There's that singing game for PS3 that they just came out with that has the entire microphone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That came out 2 months ago, and I'm pretty sure it's already at $10.
Right. So there you have it, Rock Band 4. I mean, if that's your thing, you can pick it up later this year. So. All right, let's switch over to PAX East. We have a lot of news coming out of PAX East. A lot of it Blizzard related, but one that's not. Coles, you brought this one to our attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of Final Fantasy news as well. Not only the new Final Fantasy 14 expansion release date and stuff, but Final Fantasy 15 actually had gameplay trailers, which is awesome.
And this one's going to be the really, 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 really final, penultimate Final Fantasy, right?
Penultimate means that it's not the last one.
Exactly.
Yeah. But there's been so many versions of Final Fantasy 15 too, which is also kind of a joke. Final Fantasy 15 was supposedly in works before 13 was even released, but they scrapped it.
Huh.
It's supposed to be this game was supposed to be 13 verses. You're into the verses games, but
it's kind of like after 13 they started getting a little silly with their numbering.
So they went 13-2, and then 13 Lightning Returns. Yes. So there's 3 13 games. But this one is not Final Fantasy as people know it. It's not turn-based. It's more of a Devil May Cry kind of game in a open world fashion.
That's interesting.
But you should see some of these creatures they have. They have giant dinosaurs, and they have creatures that are out there hunting deer, but you can go around them or you can fight them. Dark caves, just tons of environments they showed off. There's a 4-hour gameplay trailer on IGN.
Nice.
So yeah, finally some Final Fantasy 15.
Final.
Yes. And then 14, new expansion called Heaven's Ward is coming out on June 23rd. That will have an early access on the 19th.
Didn't they say that 14 was it?
14.
Not in a joking fashion here. 14 was supposed to be the last one, wasn't it?
14's the MMO. I think.
Right.
No,
I thought they weren't doing any
Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
No, they never said that.
Interesting.
But 14, yeah, it's Heaven's Ward, and there's flying mounts, so it has.
Warlords of Warcraft.
Away. Yeah, Warlords took away, and Final Fantasy gives.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
So also coming out of PAX East as we move along to Blizzard news, of course, we're big on Blizzard, of course. We have the Blackrock Mountain Hearthstone expansion announced. So this will be the.
Yes.
It's not really expansion. It's more of a. It's an adventure along the lines of Naxxramas.
Yes, I'm super excited for this one.
Yeah, you play a lot of Hearthstone.
Yeah, 31 new cards, I think they said.
Yeah,
Something like that.
a ton of new cards. Of course, all BlackRock related. Of course, Ren Blackhand's in there as a legendary. They have a new game board coming out, which is pretty cool. A lot of class challenges. It's going to look a lot like the Naxxramas deal, with a different theme. We'll get a different card back, stuff like that. So they're also talking about coming to iPhone as well, finally. They had some play of that from what I understand.
Sadly, I don't own an iPhone. But yes, awesome.
So, yeah. So pretty cool. Let's see, what else we got? We have Heroes of the Storm. A lot of news coming from Heroes of the Storm, starting with a new champion. And they're bringing Sylvanas Windrunner into the game. How about that?
It's really only a matter of time before every single character from every single Blizzard game is in there.
That will take a long time.
Yeah, that would take a long time. I mean,
Okay, not every single one, but all the main ones.
That would
Yeah, I think they really have to pick and choose on that. And Sylvanas, though, I think is a pretty natural choice, considering she's one of the faction leaders. I would assume we're going to see those long before we see a whole lot of other World of Warcraft ones. But I mean, they've got. I don't think it's long before we see some Overwatch in here, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, Tracer's going to drop in there someday.
People have been joking. Every time I go to the Heroes of the Storm forums, everybody wants Deckard Cain. as a champion. I don't know. He'd walk around with his cane. He had like -2 movement speed, I'm sure.
He would like people. He'd root people because they'd be like, "Stay a while and listen."
They'd fall asleep.
Yeah, pretty much. They also announced, and I'm so upset that Veg isn't here this week, because this would have been perfect to introduce with him on the podcast. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Absolutely. It's a 3-lane battleground. It feels like a knife fight in a closet, so looks like it's a pretty small map. You get gems that you have to turn in to summon a wave of web weavers to attack your enemies, but you drop the gems you're carrying if you die, much like the doubloons and the pirate one. Your enemies can't pick them up, but your teammates can still retrieve them, which is kind of interesting. It makes it a little different. But yeah, there's a lot of coming out. And there's also a pretty interesting tournament that they're going to have going on called, get ready for this, Heroes of the Dorm. College tournament for Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, wow.
And they're saying, form a team, play heroes, win free college tuition. Qualifiers begin at the end of the month, March 28th, with a single elimination bracket play of a round of 64 beginning April 11th. And the Heroic 4 is a live event that will be held in late April. $25,000 per year is up for grabs.
That's kind of awesome.
It is. Coles, get your friends going.
The only problem is that if you skip all of your classes to practice Heroes of the Storm and then you don't win, you're going to fail out before you get free tuition.
Yep, pretty much. So, yeah, that's Heroes of the Storm. Of course, Overwatch has been busy as well at PAX East. We've had 2 new champions announced and a new map as well. Now, it's kind of interesting because there's been a lot of talk about the new female champion, Zarya. And basically, she is I don't know how else to put this, a butch Russian woman with hot pink hair. And, does all these, like, poses and stuff, strong. She's really strong. And she's a tanky soldier. She's got a particle cannon, which looks kind of OP, but we'll have to see how that plays out. It's kind of interesting because there's been, the community's kind of been divided one way or the other. They say it's a nice change from the swimsuit-wearing characters that they have. So some people feel like they're listening to Blizzard is listening to the complaints that these characters look unrealistic, whatever. And then there's the other side that says, well, what a nice way, fight a stereotype with another stereotype.
She's like Russian woman Heavy from Team Fortress.
Yep, I think Coles is on mute and doesn't realize it.
Cole's, you're on mute.
Or he's AFK, one of the two.
Could be.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's AFK. But they also introduced McCree, who has a belt buckle that says BAMF. Took a second, didn't it? So, yeah, badass. Absolutely. They have a new map called Gibraltar, which is a watch point payload map. And you're saying that the beta begins this fall. So won't have to wait too long to get your hands on Overwatch, which is kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun to play. I played a little bit of it at BlizzCon, but I'd like to see how the balance has come along because it was kind of not tuned very well when I played it. But
it looks like a fun game. I'm not going to pay for it right now.
Right. Yeah.
I got plenty of other stuff to do.
So
there's a giant gorilla. That's interesting.
Nice. Giant gorilla, yes. He's one of the tanks. Tracer's the one that everyone puts their eyes on. She's got this hot British accent. Not like Lorna's. It's not authentic like hers. Lorna's got her beat on the accent. So
she needs to come back on.
Right? Where's she been? Lorna, get back here. All right. So that is it for Overwatch. We have also, and this one kind of been brewing for a while. This is World of Warcraft's WoW token. Basically what this is that you pay real money. We're assuming it's going to be the same as a subscription fee, $15.
They've said that it will not be less than a subscription fee. Presumably it'll be about the same as a subscription fee.
Yeah, that's the assumption here. So $15, you get a WoW token that you can put on the auction hall. And when you put it on the auction hall, Blizzard will tell you how much money you will get in gold when it sells. That may not be the same amount that it sells for, but you'll be guaranteed a certain amount. So Blizzard is really controlling the prices on this, which makes sense. But you look at things like EVE Online and WildStar, those are market controlled. Even IKEA, it's market controlled.
Well, it is market controlled, but Blizzard has influence. And if we trust Blizzard to be fair about it, then really what they're doing is they're guaranteeing your price, and they're making it so that one or two people can't come in there, buy a shit ton and crash the price or really jack up the price or something like that.
Which
is again
exactly what happened on WildStar with the gold sellers. That's what they did. They went in there, and as soon as they'd buy 20 creeds just to jack up the price again, and so they could creds, creeds, something like that. And they jack back up. Yes, they jack back up the price of these creeds so they could continue to sell their gold on their websites.
Hold on. Words mean things.
Creds, creeds. I call them creeds.
Creed is a band.
And a thing you buy on Overwatch. They're not Overwatch. I'm done.
Whatever. So I think Blizzard is going to have a protocol that looks at the market, and then rather than being able to overprice or underprice, it just basically sets you at the current price.
Right.
And if there's high demand and low availability, the price will go up. And if there's high availability and low demand, the price will go down.
And one other thing I didn't mention is that you can't flip these either. Once you buy a WoW token, it then becomes soulbound.
Yes, so it is one time. If you need WoW gold, you can buy a $15 token and then sell it for gold. And if you want game time, then you buy it for whatever the market price ends up being. Now, I think that's an interesting question: is how much is the market price going to be? and it's hard to say because I'm guessing somewhere around 50K for a month of time.
I would be surprised to see it around 50K, maybe a little higher, maybe closer to 65.
Here's the thing, though. The average player doesn't have more than 50K. The average player doesn't have more than 20K. So in order to actually buy the time, I mean, maybe your guild will front the cost for the guy who can't afford the time or something like that. But the average person's not going to be able to buy the time, and so the price will keep dipping and dipping and dipping until it gets to a point where the average person's able to buy one.
All right. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be enough supply to even hit the average person.
Right. Well, maybe average is
That's
bad.
Question.
Yeah, average is bad.
It might be okay, because if enough of these tokens are bought that the average person can get their hands on them, then it might be all right. Keep in mind the gold cap is 1 million. It's not going to be like the people that have all this gold are going to buy out the market. Yeah. They can at most, assuming a 50,000 price, get 20 of them.
And the other thing is, I become curious what this is going to do. I'm curious what this is going to do to the rest of the market, because if I can pay $15 and get, say the price ends up being $250,000 gold, say there's just a high supply and a low demand, or sorry, the other way around. Say that it becomes a high price. Well, I now have 250,000 gold. I can buy things a lot easier. Prices for everything else are going to go up because gold is easier to get. You can just buy gold. So you may see average items going up in price because of this.
There you go. Yeah, that could be true as well, or come down if the money's going somewhere else.
That's true. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen yet. All the because look at all the BOEs right now. They hang out around, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 for most of the 665s. Mm-hmm. If this drops and for 20,000 you can get it game time, you better believe that those prices are going to go up, because they're like, well, a month of game time is worth way more than that.
Right. So, yeah, WoW tokens seems to be interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. Did they say when they're releasing it? I don't think there was any.
They've got it in the PTR, and they've said that in a future patch, but I don't think it might be a .0.1 patch. It might not be a full. It might not be 6.2. It might come before then.
If 6.1 is any indication, it will be 6.2.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. So, that pretty much does it for everything Blizzard, everything Pax East. We got GDC out of the way. All kinds of stuff today. We have a ton of news. We're not even done yet, and Coles has got some fun going on in the background there. Let's hear it.
Hear what?
Oh, see, that's not bad.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're
It's
fine.
not. Okay.
So, yeah, we're good. So, Dan, what you drinking this week?
I got some more Blue Moon Peach.
Blue Moon Peach Ale.
I had a large gin martini earlier to pregame for the show.
For the no-show, maybe.
For the no-show.
But, yeah, have a couple more swigs, because we're about to talk about League of Legends. And last week, I mean, what can you say? TSM and CLG fall again. TIP, I want to call them Impact, but that's not it. It's Impulse. Impact's their top laner.
Yes.
It's so damn confusing.
Impact winning me fantasy points.
Yeah, well, not this week, though. They're gonna and Team Liquid beat CLG, and the top 7 teams at the end of Week 6 were within 3 games of each other. So that means, with the exception of Coast, Dignitas, and I can't think of who was 8th. Who was 8th?
Teammate, I think.
No, they're not. They're not 8th, because they're 7 and 6.
I think they were bad last week, and I think they just came up this week.
No,
I want to say.
They're on a 4-game winning streak. Teammate's rocking, man. It's not Teammate. I don't know who it is, though. I don't think.
What other team would be it on? Oh, it might be Winter Fox.
I don't know. But basically, you could see the seventh place team going into week 7 be the first place team coming out of week 9. It's possible. It could happen. I don't think it will happen. I think our top 3 are going to remain. Well, top 2. Let's say top 2 are going to remain TSM and CLG. I don't know. Cloud9's loss today was interesting.
I'm gonna say it's either Cloud9 underperforming or TIP's actually pretty good, and they're gonna come into form even more.
Yeah, and of course they beat TSM last week. They beat Cloud9 this week.
Yeah,
you know,
they could be a.
But then again, we saw Team Liquid also beat 2 top teams, and then drop to Team 8 today.
Well, the Piglet curse, you know.
Yeah, Piglet.
They have that team is also destined to forever be 4th as well.
Exactly. It's forever. It doesn't matter what their name is. They're forever 4th.
Yes.
I would be surprised to see them and Gravity tied for 4th at the end of the season.
I honestly think that they'll be 4th place. That'll be hilarious.
So, over in the EU, of course, Elements they suck. Copenhagen Wolves and Unicorns of Love both beat them. In the El Clasico, SK Gaming beat Fnatic. So that puts SK alone out in front at 11-3, and then tied for second at 10-4 is Fnatic and H2K. What
Yes.
the heck? I hate that team.
H2K.
That's like the only LCS team I hate.
Why?
Because they were like jerks in the Challenger Series.
No, yes, because they built Tiamat Morgana.
Well, I mean, they had such BM games in the Challenger Series. I don't know how they're doing in LCS, but obviously they're winning. It's for 10-4. But week 7, of course, wraps up tomorrow, and we'll see if there's anything happens to the top teams. I mean, TSM's still on top, second place CLG, third place right now. It's time for Team Liquid and C9. So
If you can't talk about
or no, not Team Liquid. Because they lost, right?
yeah, Team Liquid
Yeah,
isn't
so,
like a
so C9's all alone in third.
yes.
And then there's a tie for 4th, C9 and Team 8.
Is it
That's where it is.
Teammate or is it Gravity?
It's not Gravity. It's Team 8.
Gravity
Gravity lost today.
But I have to say, have you seen Diamond? Like Diamond's like the best.
Yeah.
He like
I didn't keep track of how Gambit did. I thought they lost one game this week.
They did to H2K.
H2K.
Broke their like 7-game winning streak.
But yeah, they had a huge winning streak going. So, but yeah, Diamond has really come back into form. That's what everyone's been saying. And I saw him play one game, and it's like at the end the casters were like, "Diamond is back." It's like, you know,
He is so good.
there you have it. Of course, we have the Fantasy LCS, and I'm finally on the board again. I won in week 1, and I didn't win again until week 6. So 2-4. Took Little Ron down a notch. He's 4-2, and then Coles, you also upset Veg.
Of course. Just had to get rid of all the elements off my team.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I ended up, well, actually no, because that week I had Crepo and Reckless bot lane, but that's because I saw them playing Meet Your Makers.
Oh, yeah.
I
Well, there you
figured
go.
they'd have a
3
big
points.
week, and I was right enough to get the win. So I got rid of them. I got CLG bot lane this week, except for
Elements is going to get
well, I got
relegated.
most point too.
That's going to be hilarious.
And this week looks like Veg might lose again. So if that happens, then Little Ron is 1 game away from guaranteeing himself a first place.
Then I'm 1 game away from catching up to Veg.
No, you're 2 games. You have to beat me first. And if a repeat
got this in
may
the bag.
happen, you're going to need a lot of help.
TSM's going to lose, and that's just going to throw everything in shambles.
You know, I was going to say that Team 8 wouldn't repeat against TSM, but they're doing so well right now. It's hard to say. Really hard to say.
It depends if Bjergsen gets a good champion, like, alright, it can go off, then sure. But if he doesn't, then I don't know. I think it'll be a good match.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that goes. So that does it for the LCS. However, the Intel Extreme Masters tournament is this coming week, starting on the 12th. And for those that don't know what the Intel Extreme Masters, it's not just League of Legends. They also do a StarCraft 2 tournament as well. So if you're into StarCraft 2, there you go. There's a tournament
go.
coming Starts pretty early in the morning, though, because it's in Katowice, Poland. Or Katowice, however you want to pronounce it. For League of Legends, we're going to have TSM, Cloud9, SK Gaming, GE Tigers, CJ Entus, the O Flash Wolves, Team WE, and Gambit will all be shown up.
Watch our Korean overlords beat up on everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how any international tournament goes these days.
GE Tigers is unbelievable. Like, I just watched like a few Korean games, but they're as good as White was last year. It's pretty scary.
And yeah, that's pretty scary too. But to think that another team's going to be as good as they were, because they were just even against their other Korean teams, they were dominant. I mean, it was crazy how good they were.
Yeah.
How many times did they win in under 30 minutes? Just insane.
Against their sister team, like the longest game was like 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's just nuts. So that does it for our news. So let's find out what we've been playing this week. Dan, what you got? I've seen you in some Diablo.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Diablo after our discussion last week. I saw... just to go back, and I don't remember if Ron said this while we were on air or not, but before the podcast, I jumped on Diablo, and he leveled me up. We went on Torment 6, and I took my 57 up to 60 in a couple of minutes, and then we took a level 1 up to about 40-something in a little bit longer. We actually had a couple other 60s join the game, and after Ron was just steamrolling through everything, and after he left, I was like, well, obviously he was power leveling me, but I'm happy to follow you guys around for a little bit. I'm like, yeah, okay. And they got wrecked.
Oh my god.
Ron's like level 600 something Paragon or whatever. Yeah, so almost 600 Paragon.
And the amusing thing about that is that I do that to Torment 6 at level 70.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary.
So he just steamrolled through everything, and these guys got wrecked anyway. So, I mean, I was at the point where I was just running around like an idiot. I streamed a little bit of it. So if you want to watch it, it's on my Twitch on twitchtv.com/Pentharian, and you can watch Ron just wreck everything. And if one single thing hit me, I was dead.
Yeah, that was the funniest part, is that even when you're playing your level 60 guys, just like one melee swing, he was done.
Yeah.
That's when you love seeing jailers. You're like, oh.
Oh yeah, jailers.
Like 20 deaths.
Well, the thing is that the elites never lived long enough to do their.
Yeah. So earlier tonight,
I would go in, I'd dot them up and do the harvest, and that'd be it.
I was playing. I was playing by myself for a little bit on Torment 1, which I can survive. But it just takes so long for me to kill anything.
Yeah,
and,
that's a big problem.
And so, like, I found a treasure goblin. I'm like, yeah, treasure goblin. And, like, he had millions of health when he left. So Ron just came through and just killed everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, half the stuff I just hit with the locust swarm, and that'd be it. They'd all die. Spread the swarm around, and they just all start dying at once. You get like a 40 killed at one blow. It's like, okay, yeah. It's a little OP. Well, the nice thing is, and one of the reasons why I was actually okay with doing that is, well, of course, to help a friend out. But the other thing is that with the the hoarder, yeah, you make some serious gold in there, and it's like every pull I was making like 1.5 to 3 million, depending on how many mobs there were. It was great.
Cool. Well, I'm glad it helped, because you can level the rest of my guys too. So I've also been playing a little bit of Homeworld. I'm hoping that they're patching it soon. They did one patch and they helped out some, but there's still some issues that they're having. The remastered version is awesome. The graphics are nice. They did a decent job porting Homeworld 1 into the Homeworld 2 engine and changing some of the things, but like the tactics. So in the first one, you just had strike formations. In the second one, you had like slightly different tactics. It doesn't work quite right. Sometimes, so one of the big things with like large fleets, if you have a large fleet, you don't want your fighters like scooting out ahead of everything and dying before the rest of your capital ships get there. And for whatever reason, there's some buggy stuff going on with the strike formations where that'll happen. Instead of everything staying in formation and basically moving at the speed of your slowest ship, your ships will go at their max speeds in like mini formations. So your interceptors will get to their big fleet first and just die, and then your corvettes will get there and die, and then your frigates will get there and then die. So I'm hoping they fix that. But I'm playing a little bit, and also playing Warcraft just because I play Warcraft.
Got any gold tips for us this week?
Nothing in particular this week. I haven't been doing anything new really. Just been posting my transmog pieces and trying to buy up, like what I said last week with the traders, trying to watch the prices and buy up items when they're low and then turn them around and flip them when they're high. But there's so many people doing that. You're gonna have a hard time selling stuff unless somebody's stupid and buys on the high days.
Yeah. How much gold are you up to?
Well, I got, I think, 450 plus. I'm still sitting on the rooster egg and haven't been able to sell it. But if I sell it at the price I want to sell it, I'll be at gold cap.
Oh my God, that's scary.
That one amount.
Yep.
Are the prices for it back at normal?
Well, so I haven't seen the dupers around recently. So, I mean, I bought it for $250,000. If I can sit on it for a while and even sell it for $300,000, $400,000, the going price before all this happened was $700,000 to $800,000. So if I can sell it for even half that, I'm still making profit. So
good luck with that, man. I just couldn't imagine having that much gold.
it's a slow game, that particular thing, and I'm also I'm used to being in slow because I sell transmog, so I'll buy a piece for 100, 200 gold or less or something like that, and sit on it and repost, and then one day I'll wake up and I'll look at my mobile app and it'll say you have 15,000 gold sitting in your mailbox.
Very nice. All right.
I can't believe someone has like 700,000 gold to blow on them now.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
And it's the best part is it's a level 40 non-flying giant chicken.
I don't even know why you'd want it, but
and if all else fails, then I will take it, and I will have the prestige of having a chicken mount.
yes, at least I don't even know if that's a good thing, but yes.
Chickens are delicious. That's all I know.
It could be like a new Chick-fil-A advertisement for a while.
Eat more chicken. All right. Coles, what you got?
So I got a little bit burnt out on the WoW stuff, so I actually moved over to an MMO that I played a little bit on the PS4, and I actually bought it again for my computer, Final Fantasy 14. And I quit, and I was like level 23 last time I played this, so I grinded out the levels and hit max level, which is 50th right now, like on Wednesday or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yes, I'm excited. I'm a Dragoon. I'm level 50. Let's go do a raid. And I went into a raid and died about 7 times.
Sounds like
myself.
With us.
Yes, well, like, and I didn't know what was going on. And this is like farmed content, like super easy. But I'm just dying constantly, and I have no clue what's going on. And luckily, I didn't get kicked or anything. But
probably because they didn't care. It's kind of like me in
yeah,
Tournament 6. If I bring in a couple of low-level players, I don't care. I'm still steamrolling it.
It's super easy content for them. For me, I'm like, oh my god, this thing's gonna one-shot me. Like, I have 4,000 health, they have like 8,000 health.
Nice.
But yeah, and I got my Steam account back. After
Yay!
3.5 weeks.
Why did it take so long? Did they say?
No, they're like, sorry for the delay. Here's your account.
Sorry for the delay.
I was like, that's it.
Sorry for the delay. Oh my god.
And then they're like, if you have any missing items, please post another ticket. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah, you don't even care.
Take me like
as long as you have
4
your
months.
games.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, all my games are there.
Man. What else was I going to ask related to that? Yeah, did you lock down your account?
Yes, I have it all under like the Steam security barrier and everything on it now too.
We'll see how that works with somebody that frequently gets hacked. I don't think
So,
that their security is very secure.
I didn't know how they did it. They didn't put a virus or anything, right?
Mhm.
Like, they took direct control of my Steam account and changed my email address, like, from my computer.
Stupid.
Like, and it was all because I clicked on a private message that had an Imager link, and the Imager link was bad.
Yeah, I remember getting that message from you too, and that's when I told you that you were hacked, and
I was like,
I had already
yep.
known about it. It's like, what the heck?
Like, it literally happened in front of my face. Like, everything just Steam turned off. Like, yeah, it was bad. But,
Any league action for you?
oh yeah, I'm playing Karthus.
Are you playing Karthus because of Zhao Wei Zhao?
Yes, actually, I literally like 20 minutes into the Karthus game, Zhao Wei Zhao. I saw you got a double kill. Like, all right, time to level.
I'm playing Karthus. So they just go and jump on the bandwagon now.
Yep. I play Kennen top lane. Kennen top lane and Karthus with them.
I don't know. I haven't been all that impressed with the Kennen top lanes.
Kennen destroys top lanes, like at least in solo queue.
Yeah, solo queue.
Everything destroys in solo queue. I mean, there's Fioras, but you'll never see them in LCS because they get dumpstered.
Exactly. So, all right. What rank are you?
I think I'm still gold 4. I go from gold 4 to gold 3. I was gold 4 at the end of last season. I was gold 4 at the end of the season before that. I'm just destined to be gold 4.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go above or below. It's just stuck. Elo hell.
Elo hell, and well, you're not in Elo hell. I'm the one in Elo hell. Just to quickly go over what I've been doing. I've been, of course, had a pretty good raid with Warden and Nymphadora, and I believe Penth, you were there on
it was
Thursday.
A good
We got down half the bosses in Blackrock in one night.
yeah, it was nice.
And
Really?
one shot the new Kolagarn boss. I'm going to call him Kolagarn. That's all I'm ever going to call him. Because it's the same idea. This is a guy that's got his arms and he's like hitting you with his hands and stuff. He's
Yeah,
like,
it's completely not the same.
They're not the same, no. It's not the same type.
It's a giant Gron, and he's got
Okay.
goiter.
What?
He's got like thyroid problems.
Oh my god.
He's got his big neck. It's like,
And he's got a lot of hands.
he needs some iodine. That's what he needs.
But we got him down, which was really cool. Which means I don't have to raid tonight. Yay! I'm kind of wanting a break because I've been doing a lot of raiding. I'm doing it like 4 days a week, and I'm in a position now where if I get a little tired of doing it, I can just like say no and just back away for a day, which is really nice. Let me tell you. So also, I've been talking about Radical a lot. I have beat my high score again. I'm up to 213. 213 is, if I remember right at the time, it was 27th out of over 300,000 players. So still Radical iOS only. Sorry, guys, but that's fun. And then some Diablo, like I was telling you about with Penth, but I've also been doing some of it by myself. Probably got maybe a good 15 Paragon levels up to 255. Haven't been getting any good gear or anything. I did, but speaking of gear, I did get one item that I could not get to drop at all in Season 1. The Enchantress Focus, where she does not die.
Oh, I got that.
I got that
my
on my
second
season
day of season. Second day seasons, I got that. I was like, yes.
And what sucks is that I don't have any gear for her, so I can't use her, and I don't have 2 unities. I have 1 unity, but I don't have 2.
I have Thunder Fury on her, which is even not cool.
I'm sorry. Did you say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker?
Well, yes, I did say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker.
Nice. You know she uses 2-handed weapons, not 1-handed weapons, right?
Oh, it was a ancient, and it does more damage than most 2-handed weapons I could find.
That's true, yeah.
And the proc still works.
Proc is OP, yeah. Proc is very much OP. So I've been, just been playing with my monks, still doing my lightning exploding palm Gunjo gear build. I found out when I was power leveling Shosan's, Paragons, and Obadia has been playing again. When I was power leveling his seasonal character, yeah, my build is not meant for that. I could not control the mobs at all, and they were just running all over the place and knocking out Oba in 1 hit. And Sho, bless his heart, he's having fun playing, but those things would just wreck him. He just doesn't have the gear yet. So,
For sure.
But I mean, they got a lot of levels. I mean, we got Oba up to like 50 before I had to go that day because that was a raid night. But yes, I've still been playing Diablo 3. Of course, did Ron's Bronze Plays last Sunday with Veg. Tried to get me through a few games and won the first game with Jana, and that had to be about the most ridiculous game of League of Legends I've ever played. Me and our ADC threw so hard in the first 15 minutes, and we tried to surrender 3 times in that game. But we ended up turning it around. I don't even remember what exactly turned it around, but we ended up winning that game in about 50 minutes. Then went on to play a Lux game. Was that the Lux game when I think that's the Lux game I went 11, 1, and 17. And it was just, holy crap, I have never played a game of Lux like that in my life. And I was just getting all kinds of kills. I got a double kill with a laser at one point. I couldn't miss anything. Usually when I play League of Legends, I have a phase of the game that's bad, and it's usually either early game or mid game. But that didn't happen. I got solo killed by Lysandra. No, it wasn't a solo kill. It was gank. And Lee Sin came from behind me, and he ended up killing me. But that was the only death. And that was before I even got a kill. And then I just went on a tear, ended up going legendary. It was so much fun. It was insane. Veg was on Graves, and he was like 5 and 8 and something. But our team carried so hard that they ended up surrendering. So, and that was my first game of the promotional series, but unfortunately I was 4th and 5th in the next 2 games and ended up getting stuck on Morgana both games and couldn't do a whole lot. So ended up losing those 2. 8 and 12 on the season, bronze 4, but got 90 league points. So if I win again tomorrow, we'll be right back where we were.
Ron doesn't want to do it with me ever.
I didn't say that. You weren't on Sunday.
No, that's true. I was on, but you and Veg were already doing it. So it's like.
Oh yeah, you came on. I think you came on in the last game.
Last 2 games. I saw your.
And then
both.
And then that's why I said I didn't want to play anymore because I was done for the night. I did 4 ranked games.
Yeah,
I usually only do 3.
That's right.
But I had the series going, so. But yeah, I tell you what, I recognize that I'm not great at League of Legends, but I have a lot of fun playing it, and to me that's important. Having fun is important. So, All right. So that's it for the gaming section. Let's move on to our roundtable, and we talked a lot at the top of the podcast about virtual reality gaming, and I kind of reserved my thoughts on it because that's what we're talking about here. Are you interested in playing virtual reality games, and what would make a game like that good for you? And have at it.
Yes.
Yes. That's a deep answer. What would make a VR game good for you?
Right now in its current state, not too much. Like, it's cool, but like the technology kind of needs to grow still. Like, controls, they're not there. I don't know. Like, a full virtual reality game would be cool. Like, full body senses stuff. Like, imagine you're like put on. I don't even know. You could put on this giant one-piece suit.
The holodeck, or
yes,
or Ready Player One. I've talked about that.
Exactly, Ready Player One. Exactly like that. That'd be perfect.
I don't think I've seen Ready Player One before.
It's a book.
Oh, it's an amazing book.
Yeah.
You need to read it. So I've discussed it briefly before, or maybe not even briefly. So the premise of the book is that everyone goes into this thing called the Oasis, which is this big virtual reality world, and it's totally encompassing. And depending, like, you can get the best rig ever, like has a special suit that gives tactile feedback across your whole body, and the creator, when he dies, he says that he's released this Easter egg, and the first person who solves the Easter egg becomes the owner of the Oasis and can control the Oasis. And so there's like the huge race to find out, and there's like, it's based, the whole book, the creator of the Oasis loved the 80s, and so the entire book is just pop culture reference one after the other. Video games, music, movies. It's amazing. It's like if any of us wanted to write a book about the 80s pop culture, this is what the book that we would write. It's a fantastic book.
I think I remember now you talking about that. And,
Yeah, you should read it.
So, yeah, I mean, Sword Art Online, I don't know if you ever even heard of it, but it's like a giant MMO thing, virtual reality.
For what?
For virtual reality. It's like, so it was probably not even realistic. Like, it's a nerve gear, so it connects all your senses into this game, kind of like Matrix almost. Not as, giant plug that you plug in the back of your head though. But so you go in this game and like you can like almost smell, your environment, like, and have feels, something like that, like in 100 years maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
Huh.
I mean, is it currently a horror game? It's probably the best you're gonna get out of it.
Right. But here's what I think about it, and I can actually talk from somewhat of experience.
Because he's a glass hole.
Well, there's that, but there's also this device here. This device is a Leap Motion controller. And Leap Motion came out, I've probably had this device sitting on my desk for about 3 years. And its promise was that you could use hand motions to control your computer. It's terrible. The hardware's okay, but the software, I don't think anyone's got any good software for this yet. And then also with Google Glass as well, the promise of Google Glass fell through by the wayside. I'm wondering if can virtual reality do what these devices can't? And I strongly question that you can create an immersive environment and something that's easily accessible.
I think part of the thing is that the future that we create is not always the future that we imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is getting kind of deep, but like, I mean, think about like, so when you talk about sci-fi shows and they say, oh, we have this technology and that technology, like from the 60s and the 50s and stuff, and you look at Arthur C. Clarke sci-fi, a lot of the stuff that he predicted is real now, but it's not in the form that we thought it would be, and it happens so slowly that we don't notice that it's happening. So think about like in the mid 90s, there were commercials about like video phones. And we never really had video phones. There were like AT&T commercials about, oh, you'll have your phone, and you'll be there'll be a pay phone with a video screen. That never happened. But everyone uses FaceTime and Skype all the time on their phones.
It's pretty much the same thing.
It just kind of skipped like there was never a landline phone with a camera, because what good is that? What's the point of that? Mm-hmm. And we've created kind of a weird world where like you have FaceTime, you have Skype, but you don't video call everyone all the time. A lot of the time you send an email or you send a text or you call them on the regular phone, and you really only do the video chat when the intention is to video chat. Mm-hmm. I mean, my son's 14 months old. He sees his grandparents and great-grandparents all the time using video chat, which is amazing. I mean, I lived in the same city as all my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents as a kid, and he lives very far away from all of them, so he gets to see them. But I don't, if I need to call somebody to say what's up, I don't video chat them. There's no point. I don't need them to see me.
Right.
But the future, you watch Star Trek or whatever, and unless they say audio only, all their calls are video chats. But we don't do that. There's no point.
Yeah. About as far as we've gotten with this, of course, is the devices like the Kinect, where it can see what you're doing. It tries to make a reasonable guess of what you're doing, and more often than not, it gets it right. That's not quite virtual reality because we're still looking at the same television that we looked on, not the same one, but we're looking at a television just like we did when we played Atari back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of the technology has come forward, but we're still stuck in as far as like visual, we're still using the same thing. Now we're getting a little bit more feedback. The controllers have, of course, the force feedback, the vibrating stuff. If you play a racing game, you might have to push a little harder to turn if you're turning on like an embankment or something, because the controller is being told that it wants you to have to turn it harder, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like full immersion goes, I think we're a long ways off from that. And I don't think that these devices that are coming out, the Vive, the stuff that we saw for PlayStation, the Facebook one, which name it eludes me right now. What
Oculus.
Is it? Oculus, thank you. And I just don't think those are going to be any type of commercial success, just like I don't think the Glass will be.
Well,
just like Motion Leap wasn't.
The other thing is, I think this exists, but there's like a 360-degree treadmill, right? It's like this platform, and it's kind of on a slope, and there's all these rollers, and so like you can walk forward and not actually go anywhere. That's, I think, the huge limiting factor for virtual reality, is that it was the same limiting factor that Kinect has in a lot of people's houses. There's no room.
Yeah.
If you're gonna turn around and quickly spin around and try to walk around or whatever, so you're never gonna be able to walk around in a game unless you have some kind of special platform. You're gonna have to use a controller to walk.
Is what you're thinking of, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it's designed specifically for Oculus.
Yeah, I mean, this technology exists, but no one's going to get something that big in their house.
No kidding. No.
Unless the only way I could ever see that happening is if they make it so good and so cheap that it replaces like treadmills. Like you can go for a run next to the Grand Canyon on your Oculus Rift treadmill thing and walk around a park or something, and they make it so cheap that they can do that.
Yeah, and you talked about having the holodeck, and something like that would take an entire room. You'd have to have the room specifically built for that purpose. That's never going to be cheap, I don't think.
I was going to say, if we invented holo emitters and it became cost effective for the average person to have one, every new house that was built, and we just lost Ron for a second.
He just turned off his camera.
Every new house that was built would have a holodeck if it became cost effective, but it's not going to be.
So really, what we need is just the Oculus Rift and like a full body vibrating suit, and then finding a way to like use your. Do you remember the Power Glove?
I remember the Power Glove. It was terrible.
The Power Glove. So bad.
It's so awful.
I'm gonna use that, but it's gonna be better.
No, the Wizard. An hour and a half long Nintendo commercial starring Fred Savage.
Sorry, that was a great commercial.
It was
that
an
was
amazing
a great commercial. I love that.
Yeah, well, you just keep your Power Gloves off her, pal. Mario 3 was introduced in that movie.
Get the star.
But I mean, there has to be a different way for movement.
California.
California. Sorry, Coles. We're reminiscing about times before you were born.
Yes,
I can tell. I have no idea this you're talking about.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we can wrap it up by saying that we really don't know what VR is going to be because it's not out yet, but it's going to be a while before it's on the level that we're expecting to be.
I seriously think it's going to not be what we expect it to be. I think it's going to be different. Better or worse, I don't know, but it'll be different than what we think it's going to be.
Yeah. So, all right. That just about does it, guys. I mean, we've gone on for about an hour here, so I think we're going to put the wraps on episode number 4 here. Any closing statements, guys? Anything you want to say?
Since we brought up Ready Player One, I wanted to briefly mention the book that I just finished listening to on audiobook called The Martian. It's by Anthony Weir. If you haven't read it or heard about it, it's written by an engineer or a scientist or something. It is a book about a guy who, during a Mars mission, the like third U.S. mission to Mars, becomes stranded, and he has to survive on Mars. And he's like a botanist and an engineer, but the book is really good because it goes on. It's engaging in the story, but it also uses like real math. So he's like,
I'm sorry,
I've
you just
got
had
to
engage.
engaging,
No. No.
and
I had to
it,
get that in there.
he's like, okay, so I need a shit ton of water. How do I get a shit ton of water? Well, I've got this hydrazine, so I can react hydrazine and burn it and create hydrogen gas and burn the hydrogen gas, and using the hydrogen gas I can make water. And he's like, I have so many liters of this and so many kilograms of that, and so I can produce this many liters of water. And like, it's
And the cat says, "Can I have some?"
yeah, it is really good. Like, if you're any kind of a scientist or an engineer or even just kind of like a tech geek, it's a fantastic book because it goes into all the details, and you listen to it like or read it and you think, I would die on day one. Like I know some of this stuff, but I would panic and I would die.
Yes, I would definitely die on day one. I'd be screwed. Pauls, anything for our closing statements?
Koala.
That's not even cute.
Sex koala.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Do 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 do
That's not what we call him, by the way. Just wanna point that out. I think
like
this
my
is how we're
theme
going to
song.
end.
My theme song's really good.
I think
Flame
this is
away.
how we're gonna end the dancing
Flame out,
cat.
keyboard cat.
All right. Until next week, guys. See ya, bye.